Okay, I wanted to make this video to document and to tell my story about how it's been having Invisalign or aligners, because I know Invisalign is the company. What it is that fix your teeth is called aligners. So a lot of people get them mixed up. They call aligners Invisalign or just call Invisalign the whole thing. So yeah, I just wanted to document how it's been because I'm like halfway through the treatment, and then make this video for people who may be thinking about getting Invisalign or aligners, and then the people who already have aligners or then went through Invisalign can also share their stories. The people who still in it and the people who finished, you can tell us if you liked it, how was it, and things like that. So it's kind of just a video, and because this is gonna be part one, of course, because I'm not done yet. So it might end up being a few parts. But yeah, I made this basically just documenting and sharing with people my story with having the liners. So yeah, so basically I had got aligners, what was it, last year, May. I ended up getting aligners. Now, I wanted them for a long time, but when I was younger, about maybe 5, 6 years ago, when I was really like trying to really get, maybe even more, maybe like 10 years ago, when I was really trying to get my teeth fixed, was looking into getting aligners, but I couldn't get them at the time. I could only get braces because they said that aligners wasn't, the technology wasn't good enough to fix the problems that I had with my teeth. So fast forward to about 2 years ago, I went to go actually get braces because I'm like, okay, I have the money now. Because the reason why it took a while, because as we know, braces and aligners is expensive, and I'll get into the price of stuff later on. So I was really waiting for it, and I really didn't want to get braces because I felt like I was too old for braces because at this point I'm in like my mid 20s. I want to say, and then braces is always known for being painful, and then you have to keep getting it going to get them tightened. Like it was just too much for me. But I always knew that aligners was a easier process. So I ended up going back for braces once I had the money. And no, my bad. What actually ended up happening, I actually went to the dentist to get my teeth cleaned. I was thinking about going to get braces like right after I got my teeth cleaned. But when I got my teeth cleaned, like sometime at the dentist office, it'd be people there trying to sell Invisalign and stuff like that. So one of the ladies asked me, was I interested? And I told them like they said I couldn't get it. And she said, well, how long ago was that? And I told her probably was like 4 or 5 years ago. She was like, well, technology had changed since then. You probably can get them now. So she did a scan of my mouth and sent it in and stuff. And she ended up telling me, yes, you can get aligners if you want to. So I'm like, dang, okay, that's cool. So I ended up going to a couple different, two different Invisalign or aligner, places that sell aligners and do aligners. And one of them, believe the first one, I forgot the name of the company, but they basically told me that, yeah, I can get it, but I would have to have my like four molars pulled. I would have to basically have like in total it ended up being like 6 teeth because I also had an impacted tooth, like a adult tooth that never came down from when I was younger. Like I still had one baby tooth, so they would have to remove that tooth and then my four molars to straighten out my teeth because the problem with my teeth, and I'm gonna show before and after pictures, like how it looked before and then after. But basically I had crowding at the bottom. So, and one of my teeth was like behind my other teeth, like I'll show a picture. But so yeah, so he wanted me to get my four molars pulled because he felt like that would like straighten it, be easier to straight out or look better so I could still keep all my teeth. So I ended up doing some research, like looking it up and looking at different YouTube videos and stuff about it. And I seen like, the people who had the four molars pulled, because of course I didn't want to get no four of my permanent teeth pulled plus my intact, like who wants to get 5, 6 teeth pulled? I'm like, dang, I really have to do all this. So I was trying to research it, and a lot of people like, dang, I ain't trying to do it also. But some people on YouTube and stuff did do it, and some people was cool and everything, but some people had problems. So of course, I went to go look for a second opinion on the subject, if that would be best or not. So I ended up going to a different place that I ended up choosing called Epic Smiles, and he told me that I didn't need to get four molars pulled. I would just need to get the impacted tooth pulled, and then I'll be straight if I just do that, like just get the impacted tooth pulled, and then we just then. So I'm like, okay, I only have to get one tooth pulled instead of what I think it was five or six. So of course I'm gonna go with this. So I went to get the impacted tooth pulled, and the person who was going to do it, he said that he felt like I might need to get more teeth pulled, just like the first company was saying, first orthodontist. My bad if they not called a orthodontist, the people who do the aligners, but he said that he might agree with them that I might need more teeth pulled because he don't see how the crowding gonna be straightened out. So I'm like, okay. So I went back to Epic Smiles and I told them what they said, that they think I should get more teeth pulled. So he decided, he was like, no, you don't have it. You shouldn't have to have all of them teeth pulled, but what you can do is get the tooth that's in the back, like in the back of the tooth, you can get that teeth pulled, and it will be like a much faster and easier process, with your Invisalign and straightening out your teeth. So of course I decided on that, like getting two teeth pulled instead of five is still better. So I ended up having to go get the impacted tooth and the other tooth pulled, um, had surgery and had it pulled and stuff. So my experience with that was, it wasn't that painful. It took a long time because it's packed the tooth, and then this is something to keep in mind. Also, why that's why I say I'm making this for educational purposes, is that it's always best to do dental work when you're younger. Like they end up telling you that. Like that's why most teenagers get braces, and most people get their teeth straightened like when they teenagers and maybe early 20s. But some people like myself, who parents didn't have the money and didn't really, I guess, care as much to get it done while I was in my teenage years. I had to do it myself. And of course, I had to wait till I had the money and was able to do it, on my own. So, of course, that ended up being in my mid to late 20s. So it just is what it is. But they told me that it would be harder for the tooth to come out, because basically, the older you get, the more, like, I guess, your teeth become more permanent, I guess, until of course you get to like old age, and then they start falling out. But yeah, so they said it's gonna be hard because that adult tooth been up there for so long. So they ended up doing it. It took a long time. It took like an hour for them to get it out, and it was seeming like they might not could have got it out. It was looking crazy, but luckily it ended up getting done. And then of course the other tooth, it was easy with just a simple pull out. So that wasn't too bad. I guess the worst part was afterwards of all of the blood that I had. Like my mouth like was just leaking blood. Like I was leaking blood driving. So they put cotton balls in your mouth, but it's so much blood that the cotton balls end up, getting bad real quick. So that ended up really messing me up for real. While I was driving, I had blood on my shirt, one of my good shirts. Lucky it wasn't one of my favorite shirts, but it was still a good shirt. And it ended up getting blood on it, and I had to end up throwing the shirt away because you ain't getting blood out. So yeah, that was the worst part, the blood and stuff. Like my face, I didn't swell as much because I got my four wisdom teeth out there, and I guess I forgot that it's a lot. I also had to get my four wisdom teeth pulled also, because I was one of the people, I didn't get my wisdom teeth pulled when I was younger, but I got my wisdom teeth pulled before I got the impacted tooth and the other two pulled right around the time when I was thinking about going to get braces. I knew I had to get my wisdom teeth pulled because I ended up getting a toothache, my first ever toothache. And toothaches, if you don't know, if you never had a toothache, you don't want one, because it's one of the worst pains you could ever have. Like, swear to God. So yeah, I ended up getting them pulled for before, and my jaw was swole for like a week or so. But with this, my jaw was swole with just the initial blood. Um, afterwards, and I wasn't in too much pain. Like, of course, I took a Tylenol, ibuprofen, or whatever, and I was straight for the most part. So, of course, so I ended up getting that done. Then after that, I ended up going back and starting my aligners process. So with the aligners process, I'm gonna put up a picture of what I ended up paying. You can see the different breakdowns. So I had one of the more like what's the word, like serious cases, I guess. So I had to end up getting like the highest plan or whatever, because some people get it and their teeth are already straight. They just kind of like making it even more straight, to where it's not as bad as other people. But with me having that crowding and my teeth really having to go places, I ended up having to pay the most. So luckily, I ended up getting on a payment plan because, of course, 4,000 is a lot to pay up front for a lot of people. But I ended up just having to put, I think, 500 down. I think 500 or 1,000 down, and then I pay like 220 a month or 212 a month, something like that. So yeah, that ended up being my payment plan to where it's still expensive, but it's manageable. Paying 220 a month, it's like, it's like a bill, but I'm able to manage it because it's something that I really wanted to get done. So that's, the price, and it varies by how serious your case is. So when it comes to pricing, it could be because, people who didn't have a lot of crowding, or if it's not too bad, you probably only pay 1,500 to get, your teeth straightened, which is not too bad. But yeah, think I'm supposed to be done paying this coming up September. So I started in May 2023, and I'll be done with my payment plan in September of 2024. So that's a little bit over a year, like a year and 4 months to pay it all off. And then, of course, I'm thinking about just paying it early. What you know that you can do, just go ahead and paying it and getting it out the way. Because what they do also, I don't know if all companies do this, but they do it when you're on a payment plan. They only give you a certain amount of trays, like maybe 4 or 5 trays. Then you have to come back and get the rest. So they make sure that you paying them. So, they don't just give you all of your trays and then you just run off and don't pay them, back at all. So that's what they kind of do. But if I just went on and paid the rest, I think I owe like 1,800 I got left. I can just go ahead and get all my trays, what I might ended up doing. So that's the pricing. It's not too bad. Braces, I think, is a little bit cheaper, because why and didn't want to get braces and chose aligners over braces, if you don't know, is that aligners is it's not as painful. And I get into if there's pain with aligners, but it's not as painful as braces. You don't have to keep going back to get them tightened. Like I said, I have to keep going getting my aligners, but that's just because I'm on a payment plan. If I just paid all of the balance, then I could have just took them all home and I wouldn't have to really go back. Besides, maybe they said like once every 6 months, just to make sure that it's tracking right and things is going according to plan. That's the only thing that I would probably really have to do with aligners. And then, of course, with braces, what else was it? Oh, that's right. Another thing with braces, if I would have got braces, I wouldn't have had to get my impacted tooth pulled. They would have been able to like move it and like bring that tooth down. I would have had to just get my baby tooth pulled, and then they could have just run that down and I could have kept it like that. But it would have been longer. That's the thing, is that with braces, it was gonna take longer than aligners would. And then with aligners, with me having a long um like a complicated process, it's going to take longer than most people, because I think I'm going to be a liner. So I started in May and I calculated that I would be done in March of 2025. So I started May 2023 and I should be done in March of 2025. So it's about almost 2 years. It's going to take me a little less than 2 years for my process. But with braces, it probably would have took, I think they said 3, 4 years. So that's one of the reasons too. And then of course I like the aligners, like the clear aligners like I got, to where you can't really tell that they in your mouth like that unless you real up close, versus braces, you can really tell. So with the clear aligners, you can't really tell that somebody really got him in their mouth unless you real up close or really looking, or they tell you for the most part. So yeah. And then like it's easy to just take them out, and then I don't have to worry about stuff getting stuck in my braces and stuff like that, eating certain foods and things like that. So it would definitely a better and easier choice for me to choose aligners over braces for me personally. But some people, they might like braces and of course the way that they look, and maybe if you're a woman, like the colors and all that. But for me, it just made more sense to get aligners. So yeah. So where was so yeah, I ended up going back and getting the aligners and starting my process. So I just wanted to give a quick breakdown where I'm at, 'cause like I'm about halfway done. This is my aligners box that they give you. You can kind of see. But yeah, I need it fell out. So yeah, as you see, I'm actually on 18 out of 44. So you see I got 44 trays. I know a lot of people only have like 20 some trays, but that's why I told you end up getting I got 44. So I got more than a lot of people. So yeah, so 18 out of 44. So I'm about halfway done. I'm not quite halfway, but I'm about halfway done. So my experience having aligners, Invisalign, um, I guess the bad, like I guess as far as if there's any pain, um, there's no pain, like like actual pain, like what pain is, it's more so kind of like an irritation. And when you first put in a new set, like every time you put in a new set of aligners, you feel like the tightness. That's more so like that's probably the most pain that there is, or like the thing that I guess annoying the most, like I'll say the first couple days, maybe like 2, 3, 4 days, like putting them in, like it's real tight, and then you could feel like the tightness on your teeth, like you could feel that it's like tightening up your teeth, like you can actually feel that. And then somebody told me, or I said, or I researched, like I'll put in my new tray because I have to put in new ones every 2 weeks. It just come out to be Thursday, because when I start, so every 2 weeks on Thursday, um, I have to rechange my aligners. So what I do, I put them in at nighttime before I go to sleep. But they said that's kind of better because you go to sleep for like 6, 8 hours. And when you first put them in, it's the tightest. So it helps a little bit, but it's still gonna be tight for like a few days. But it's not pain or nothing too bad, but it's just tightness that you're gonna feel for the most part. So, and then when I first got aligners, there was definitely some, well, I ended up getting a root canal because I ended up having fillings in my teeth, because before I got aligners, they wanted to clean my teeth and do the fillings and do everything. But I guess when the pressure from the aligners, they said that the filling ended up like sinking into my gums, or, some craziness, science type stuff. So I ended up having pain. And at first I didn't know it was a root canal. I was just thinking that it was the pain from the aligners, because this was my first tray, like my first 2 trays. I had like pain, like a toothache. So when I was researching, I was just thinking, because I was new to aligners, and that's how it's supposed to feel when you put it in, like if you're supposed to have pain for a couple few days. So it ended up going away um maybe after a week or whatever. So I just thought it was the normal process, but what ended up happening, my nerves end up dying, because when you have a real bad toothache and stuff, after a while your nerve die. That's why the pain kind of goes away, but then sometimes it comes back. But I ended up getting like a lump on my gums out of nowhere. So I'm thinking like, what's this lump on my gum? So I'm thinking that maybe because the aligners is so tight that it's causing that. So I ended up waiting a little while, like a month or two, and it went down. It started to go down. That's why I think it was too bad, but then it wasn't going away. So when I went to my appointment to pick up a new set of aligners, I told the doctor or whatever that, yeah, I got this bump on my gums. What is that? So they told me it was a abyss, I think it's called, or I forgot what it's called, but they said that, yeah, I need to go to the dentist and get it looked at because it might not be nothing serious, but then it might be. So when I went to the dentist, they ended up telling me that I needed a root canal. So, and I couldn't believe it. I'm like, a root canal? Because, I'm thinking like a root canal, like a cavity to where, like my teeth is bad or I'm not brushing my teeth or something like that. I thought it was crazy. So I ended up going to a second dentist besides my own, and they ended up saying the same thing. And they ended up telling me because of the feeling that I got, like that can happen. So I'm like, dang, that's crazy. So yeah, I did end up having to get a root canal done, and the root canal is a process on its own. I could make a whole video about the root canal because it's definitely like it's not painful because of course they put you in anesthesia, but it took like 2 hours, and then I had to make three separate trips. Like, it was crazy. First, they had to like drain it and clean it. Then I had to come back for them to close it. And then I had to go back again for a crown, which I haven't got my crown yet because with aligners, a crown, like, it might not fit your teeth. So I would either have to get all new sets of aligners or I have to wait till I'm done with my Invisalign process and then they gonna put the crown on. So yeah, that's that. And it's definitely expensive, but luckily I had insurance. But yeah, that was the worst part, having the root canal and that pain from the first tray that really I thought was just the aligners, but it wasn't the aligners. It was the root canal from the filling from the aligners. So that was the most pain. So that's why if I would have made this video when I first got aligners, I would have been saying that it's pain. But since I know that it was it's not having been no pain because since every tray since then and stuff now, I don't have no pain. It's just the tightness on your teeth. So really with aligners, there's really no pain for real. Like I said, it's just more so tightness for the first few days when you put the aligners in your mouth. So that's probably the most that you would experience. Now, for me, and the thing is that where I'm ready to be done with aligners, even though it's not too bad, is that it's just irritating to me. Even though I'm in my 18th trade and I done had it, this is January, I started in May, so over 6 months, it's still irritating having aligners. Like I done got used to it, but it's still like, I be wanting to take them out after a certain long period of time. Taking them out, eating, and you having to brush your teeth and clean every time you eat. Every time you drink, like if you want to drink coffee and stuff, like you're not supposed to drink it with aligners. Like it's more so irritating than anything, like having them in, like having to constantly take them out, put them back in, and then the feeling of their teeth. Like after I have them in for so long, I just want to take them out for a minute, just I guess let my teeth breathe. Could it be feeling like I need to let my teeth breathe sometime? So that's like the most irritating thing that it is when it comes to having aligners, for real, for real. So, yeah, I'm trying to think of what else because I don't want this video to be too long. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna put a before and after, like how my teeth look before I started the Invisalign process, and then I'm put up a picture of how it looks now. And you can see the difference. I definitely noticed the difference, but just me getting my extra tooth pulled, just that made it look better, but I could tell it then definitely straightened out and definitely look better than it looked when I was initially, before I started having aligners and Invisalign. But I still definitely need some work. I can still got some ways to go. I'm only halfway done. I could tell like, I don't have perfect teeth yet. I'm not, of course, so I'm not done. So I'm waiting to see the end process. And of course, I'm going to keep y'all updated on how it's going and how my teeth going and my experiences and stuff like that. So overall, would I recommend aligners? Definitely if you want to get your teeth fixed, because the reason why I ended up doing it, because when I was younger, I didn't really care for real because I never really got made fun of. And I think it's because I got an overbite. So it's like when I talk, people really couldn't see my bottom teeth because the top of my teeth is straight. Like, it's nothing really wrong with the top part of my teeth. It just was the bottom front was crowded. So when I talk with the overbite, people couldn't really tell unless I opened up my mouth wide or you really was paying attention that my teeth was messed up. So for the most part, I never really got laughed at or criticized for my teeth. I just one of my exes, like, and it was funny, he brung it up to like, oh, you need to get your teeth fixed or something like that, to where it kind of hit me like, dang, maybe I should. And then I knew that I wanted to start making content and, eventually YouTube videos and talking. I always been somebody who liked to talk in front of people and stuff like that. So I'm like, and filming and stuff, because I'm in college for digital media. So digital media, learning how to record, and I got to record myself and make short videos and stuff. I'm like, I gotta be presentable. So that's what made me really want to get the liners and get my teeth fixed. Like, I need to go ahead and do this. And even when I was younger, like I said, 10 years ago when I went, it's something that I always want to do. Like, of course, who don't want to have their teeth straight, but it was never like an emphasis, like to where, okay, I seriously got to do this, to like, no, I don't care how much I got to pay. I'm going to do this because I wanted to get into, filming myself and talking and stuff. And so, of course, you need to have your teeth straight. And then, of course, women look at that too. Of course, like, people big on teeth, like, it just is what it is. So it's something that I had to get done. And I recommend, of course, that you get done. And it's not nothing too bad. Like I said, there's no pain for me. It just tightness. That's the only thing I could say. And then it gets annoying wearing aligners after a while, to where I got to kind of take them out. And then lastly, about because you supposed to wear them 20 to 24 hours a day or something crazy like that. I just went to my orthodontist or whatever, the person who tracking my teeth and stuff like that. And he said, I'm doing perfect. I'm coming along fine. And I'm not gonna lie, I wear them every day. There's not been a day I didn't wear. I wear them majority of the time. So I ain't gonna act like that. But there's been days where I haven't worn no 19 to 20 hours or whatever a day. There's been days where I probably wore like 15, 16 hours a day. Cause it's been a time before I forgot, like I made a mistake and left them at home. And then I was out and about or had to go to work. So it was like 4 or 5 hours or whatever it was that I didn't have to wear, I didn't have my aligners in. So there have been days to where I didn't meet that 18 to 23 or whatever it is plateau that they want you to have. And my teeth is still tracking and still doing fine. So you don't have to necessarily go by that, but that don't mean to, of course, be careless. I still then wear them every day, and I make sure I wear them when I go to sleep, which is the most important because that's the longest period of time. Them 6 hours of sleep having them in. Like, I make sure I always have them when I go to sleep. But I'm just saying that to say, like, oh, if you have one day to where you only wear them 14, 15 hours, that's not going to completely, mess you up like they try to make it seem. So yeah, I want to say that. Then another way is that, like, they told me, like, if your aligners, like, if you go into a new tray and then your aligners not fitting, like, it's not covering your teeth, like, to where it's like gap, like, you could tell, like, it's not fully able to go over your teeth. That's when you know that you wasn't wearing them enough and you falling behind. But like mine, like I said, like, I can still put them in, they cover on my entire teeth. That's how you know, like, if you put in your aligners and they not covering your entire teeth, then you know that you behind in schedule or whatever. I guess that's how I can put it. So yeah, that's my experience with Invisalign or aligners so far. So of course I'll be back with y'all sharing what's been going on and giving y'all more updates and stuff like that about how it is and the before and after and stuff like that. So I'll probably make another video when I'm like on my midway, then I guess what that'll be, because I'm 44, so what that'll be like 22, 24, somewhere in there. So somewhere in between my 22 and 25th trade, I'll make another video and y'all will see how it's going, and I'll give y'all more updates also.